Thank you for staying with us. It's about 4 months to the 2023 presidential election, and campaigns are now in full swing. Presidential candidates are unveiling their manifestos and traveling the length and breadth of the country to reach out to Nigerians and secure their support. Recently, some of the frontline presidential candidates were in Kaduna State, where they attended an interactive session organized by the Arewa Joint Committee. The candidate of the Social Democratic Party, Adewole Adebayo, was one of the candidates there, and he says his party is determined to implement the better life that Chief MKO Abiola promised Nigerians in the 1993 presidential election, which made Nigerians vote for him en masse. He promised to tackle oil theft, address the crisis in the education sector, curb corruption, amongst others. Prince Adewole Adebayo, presidential candidate of the Social Democratic Party, joins us now from our Abuja studio. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Good morning. Thanks for the invitation.
Right. Let's begin with the 52 deregistered parties that just threw their weight behind your party. What does this mean for your party?
Well, for us, it means that the message that we are spreading is being accepted. It means that more people are joining our movement, and it means that we need to do more work and reach the people more. I'm highly impressed, and I'm most grateful for the endorsement. But like I keep saying all the time, in the Social Democratic Party, we don't take things on the surface. What's more important for us is to actually get the people who have joined us now to lend their weight to what we do in the grassroots. This year is different from all the other previous elections. All the fanfare, all the endorsement, press releases, walking all over the streets, they will not matter as much as you having actual boots on the ground in the neighborhood, and that's what we're working on.
Mr. Adebayo, some people have said a party like the SDP, having 52 join them, is a reflection of the desperation of the Nigerian political animal. That we just look for a place to dump our interests, and then we try to see whether we can negotiate something when eventually things happen. What do you think? I mean, people don't think that there's any ideological element to it. There are 52 parties coming together with different worldviews, that nothing is bringing them together other than an opportunity to have a share of the Nigerian cake.
I don't know if there's any Nigerian cake left. I think the last cake, APC has finished it, even broken the bottle. So I think what we are looking at now is to look at the reality on ground. There is a lot of poverty on the ground, and there is insecurity. You know what is happening with the diplomatic community, issuing warnings and all kind of tension going on in the country. So this is not the year for anyone to come and profiteer. And anyone who is joining us, they've listened to us enough that there is nothing to share, that there's only work to do. So anyone who is joining us cannot be under illusion. We don't have bullion funds, we don't have cash to give anyone, we don't have present patronage in government, and our message is very strong and resolute that we are coming to work. So there is no subsidy payment to give to anyone, there's no inflated contract to give to anyone, and there's no room in our government for hangers-on. There are competent Nigerians who will make up the presidency, both home and abroad, and they are not necessarily people who are endorsing us or do anything. Anyone who is endorsing us, I want to believe they are endorsing the principle on which we run. So there is nothing to share other than the fact that ideological differences, for whatever they might be, must merge when it comes to the issue of poverty and insecurity. So what we are bringing to government is just that understanding that our problems is the same problem that Abiola came to solve 30 years ago. It's just that it's worse now, poverty and insecurity. There is no room in those two fronts for anybody to come for spoils of anything. Basically, you need to bring competence, character, and commitment.
As a follow-up, you have 52 people joining you. How have you met with them? What have you discussed with each other? How have you been able to see whether you actually cohere, either ideologically, temperamentally, or in terms of goals? Because 52 is not just two people moving together. It must be a merging of culture, or is it just a matter of pigs coming together in a sty in order to feel warm?
What we looked at, first, you don't reject a gift. So if people say they want to support you, you don't start to be too critical of them. But what we evaluated was to see that it's not a jamboree. So first, nobody is coming to join us in the hope that they are going to be given anything now. Second, that they actually have boots on the ground, and there's a reason why they were deregistered. So if they were top-notch, why were they deregistered? So we looked into it. We saw that many of them were deregistered for technical reasons. Many of them were deregistered because they won elections, and the election got cancelled by the tribunal. Some of them, they should have won their elections, but they were rigged out. So we saw that they have substantial people on the ground. And then we look at the character of the leadership, that they're not the type that do flip-flop, that will decamp here today and decamp there tomorrow. They've been deregistered for a number of years now, and they've kept themselves together. And they also go in line with other groups that we are talking to, deep professional groups, vocational groups, community groups, to try to see that we have that penetration on the ground. Because the problem facing smaller parties is that they're almost like one-man business on many occasions. So somebody just goes to INEC, gets a certificate, and he keeps puts certificate in his pocket, and here his nest of kin. They constitute the entire party, and every election year they just clog the ballot. It makes a very long ballot without any activity on the ground, and they're looking for whoever is going to give them some payday. So what we are trying to do is to create a new culture where the smaller parties are actually engaging people. They actually have their own work program. They actually try to grow and grow with people who have leadership profile in their communities, and they actually have work. So that this is the first year in a long year that whatever these behemoth leviathans are doing, that we can do it, only that we're not going to spend billions doing it, and we're not going to be flying jets all over the place. But if they fly in their jet, by the time they land, they will meet us on the ground. So that is the idea. But in terms of what they believe, we went through their manifesto. What I find out is that it looks like the spirit of a copycat is in most of the manifestos. So it's even surprising to me how they became 52 parties in the first place. Because when you go through the entire manifesto, it's like they went to a photocopy machine and photocopy all of them. So it wasn't hard to get them in one seminar or two to outline what they believe in. And some of them that don't believe in what we believe in, where, for example, you are not very firm regarding the indivisibility of the country. You are not very firm regarding the respect for diversity of the country. You are not very firm in terms of ensuring that social investment will take priority over any other thing you want to do in government, that you have respect for Chapter 2 of the Nigerian Constitution, fundamental objective of the directive principle of state policy, that you don't, for some of them that thought that poverty could not be alleviated, eradicated, that it could only be alleviated. That's why we had most of the debate. We were able to win them over and say, this is crucial. If you don't believe in these things, I don't see how you can join us, because this is what we want to commit our public life to. So those are the issues. It wasn't so difficult getting them on board.
Prince Adebayo, you've been speaking about prioritizing women if elected. And I am wondering why you didn't begin this priority with perhaps fielding female presidential running mate, or even supporting the lady who came up as the presidential candidate of the party in the first place.
Okay, well, it's a very good question, and it has a very simple and truthful answer. If you recall, the first vice presidential candidate that I nominated was a lady, Nafisa Mohammed Bolori, and I was very happy with that, and my party was very happy with her. She's a fantastic lawyer from a good family, understands this country. She's from Borno State. But unfortunately, she has a serious family situation. Someone who is very close to her in the family is very sick. And as it goes with mothers and daughters and sisters, they have the human element much more than the other gender. And she came up and resigned due to family concerns. And she's been facing a family situation, attending therapy and paying attention. And that is the standard all over the world. Many candidates do withdraw when they have a serious family situation that can distract them.
So what happened that is it that there was no other female who could take up that slot?
Well, there were other females considered, but you have to look at regional balancing and so many other things. You have to look at, so we don't fall into the same trap of insensitivity and lack of respect for diversity, which, for example, the APC has fallen into. And we don't want to be in the chaos, permanent chaos and circus that the PDP has turned itself into. So we had to consult other leaders of the regions, other leaders of the country, and we discovered that in any case, when the candidate who withdrew was chosen, there was a runner-up that was considered. And the runner-up happened to be a gentleman who's a fantastic gentleman from Kano State, and who is now Vice President, Engineer Salisu Yusuf Buhari. So we had to go with that. And at the time she resigned, it was like 2 days or so to the deadline. So there was not enough room, and we already had a competent person already who was in line, so it was just natural. But in addition to that, we have, for example, Khadija Lamidi Okuno. She's the Deputy Director General of our campaign. Actually, she will have been the Director General, but because of regional balancing, we both, she's from Lagos State, I'm from nearby Ondo State, so it will not make good diversity for the country for us not to give that position to the North Central, which by our party's balancing is supposed to produce the Director General. So she is the Deputy Director General. So I will have many women in key positions in the campaign.
Mr. Adebayo, your party is being touted by some people as the third force. Some people say that that itself is presumptuous, because the position actually belongs to, that position belongs to the Labour Party, and that you are not in anything close to the third force, and that you are not even a force at all.
Well, it's you know, in an election year, you must be ready to take as many labels as possible. I think the stage where we are now, the only answer anyone can give is a resounding performance at the ballot box. we're not going to get distracted. We see the competition to show off. Some people or some campaigns need to show up and show up. But if you look at what happened in the River State of recent, you will see that we're forced to reckon with, at least on the feasible side. When you see what's going to happen in the next few weeks, you will see the advantage that the Social Democratic Party has is that it's an old party, and it has highly experienced politicians in it. So it looks like a minority party because we don't have people who are notorious for government mismanagement, for money politics and all of that in our party. But we have highly experienced people. There are people in our party who have been there since Abiola time. When I went to Jigawa State, I met many of them. So we have our taproot, and we know how we win election. And you saw our performance in Ekiti State. So you will see our performance on the field. So we are patient. We can be called anything, but we are going to be the major force, God willing. But we are not about blowing our trumpet. We want to work. We know where we are weak. We know where we are strong. We know where there's room for improvement. And on a daily basis, we face that. And at the end of the day, people are going to see that all across the country, the SDP is going to show a commanding performance that will show to Nigerian people that democracy can be deepened, and that hard work also pays, and that in this era of beavers, in this era of one person, one vote, in this era of electronic transmission, anybody who neglects the polling unit, who goes to TV studios, who goes to stadium for rallies, who marches on the streets, who is doing all kinds of online activity, might discover that they might have misinvested. So we want to be strong on the ground and let the activity on the ground be the one that will trickle up and show. We don't want to make noise and then have nothing on the ground to show for it. So let us not argue about who is first, second, third, whatever. Let the media do their rating according to who is placing adverts in their paper or media house. Let us just focus on 176,180 polling units and see who is there. And my colleagues who are running against me have gone around different polling units, gone around, they see us on the ground. So they know we are there because we meet on the ground. But when it comes to my rally is bigger than your rally, my crowd is bigger than your crowd, I think we let those who have money to blow be the one to fight over that. But show me anybody you know who is your relative, who is in any remote village, who is your relative, who is in any city, who is anywhere. They will tell you that where some SDP people came here, they talk to us, boots on the ground, that is what we are doing.
Am I getting the impression that you're saying that you are running to lose because you are beating your chest on what you perform, how you performed in Ekiti? You're not first, you're not second, you're not third. You know, are you running to lose because you don't have a party chairman? Sorry, you don't have a governor, you don't have a local government chairman, you don't have a member of rep or senate and so on. What people call structure. How are you going to convert all of this into victory? Or are you running to lose, or are you running to be reckoned with as a man who brought something to the table?
I'm not sure Prince Adewole Adebayo is still on the line.
Oh, we lost him.
Yeah, the connection actually. It seems there's some technical challenge with the connection. We do hope that Prince Adewole Adebayo, the presidential candidate of the Social Democratic Party, will be able to come some other time to address some of the issues that you were asking, and some other issues that I'm sure Nigerians will want him to speak to with regards to the security matters, poverty, insecurity, talk about the number of out-of-school children, talk about primary health care, brain drain, economy. These are issues that would like for him to speak to so that Nigerians can understand how he intends to address them. Okay, I think I hear he is back on the line. Prince Adebayo, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you, but I couldn't hear Mr. Massey. I do apologize.
Okay, I was saying that you were talking about how you performed in Ekiti. I said you were not first, you were not second, you were not third. And why are you beating your chest on that position? Is that how you want to perform on the national scale? If that is the case, I mean, are you rolling to lose?
With due respect, I think you are wrong. In Ekiti, we were second. In Ekiti, we were second. We were actually first. We were cheated. We were second. The matter is in the tribunal. So I think you need to check that fact.
Oh,
correctly.
okay. Yes. You're talking of Oni. Oni, yes. Oni was second, but people are saying that it's actually Oni, not SDP, that ended that status, and that Oni carried all his people from a different party to his SDP. So people were not voting for SDP, they were voting for Oni. But do you have the kind of stature that Oni has? Because as I was saying earlier, you guys have no governors. You have no governors. You have no
You can ask the
senator
governor,
or
he will
anything.
tell you that actually it is SDP that carried him. And you could see that most of the people he left in his other party, they are still in that other party. The people who are within, the people who did the job are SDP people. And if you go to many states in the country today, you will see that the SDP structure is very strong. But like I said, all of this is in the realm of boasting and speculation. I think at this time around, in the election cycle, any serious candidate who still has time to banter over my crowd is bigger than yours, I'm strong, and all of that, has a lot of time to spare. What people need now is for us to take our message to them, and the election is just 4 months away from now. I believe that we'll be back in your studio and we will be having a different conversation. What I know is that anybody who is not on the ground and who is not able to excite the voters in their polling units and who is not able to defend their vote will just be a has-been.
All right.
And we don't want to be a has-been. We want to be the party that made the change.
All right, we have to leave the conversation here now. Prince Adewole Adebayo, presidential candidate of the Social Democratic Party. Thank you for joining us on the program.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. God bless Nigeria.
Thank
Amen.
you.